What's up, YouTube? I am the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your messenger of God. I am the Lilith reincarnated, making me your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, mystic, medium, prophetess, an actual walking prophecy, and ultimately just your messenger of God. What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? Hey, I got another message for you. Not from him, just from me and the other beings. I don't know, he might chime in. I shared something in my community page. It was a cool picture of what people see as, I don't even know what to call it. Heaven, I suppose. Not really, because when you ask people what they think of heaven, they see cherubs and, angels and wings and clouds and light and grapes and cups up and stuff. But this picture is more of like a universal heaven where we all just meet together in the universe. And that's pretty much what it is. You know what I mean? And then I've told people in other videos, people ask, what is God? Who is God? What does he look like? It's the everlasting light and everything, everywhere. He's the voice that's coming out of those bugs. He's the breath that comes out of ours. You know what I mean? As I said before, he's the reason that you have to push your hair out of your face. He's the reason you have to adjust your pants. He's the reason that you feel hungry. He's everything. As far as all the forms of him, that's the fun part. God is in everything. We are all an expression of God. Whether his vengeful side, you know what I mean, or his loving side. All that in between, all that shit, no, not really, not too much. Ultimately, and even when he's being vengeful, he's being loving because he's fighting for his people. He has to intervene between his children and the problems that they cause upon each other. He has to step in, and he has to be God, right? But ultimately, you'll see in the picture, he's just the light that we praise inside the darkness. But he's also the darkness, because he's not there either. He's everything, light and dark. So I show this picture, and I'm like, oh, here I am, all in the. That's where it's like, it's a two-sided coin. You're sitting on the principle of light and dark. You're right there in the. It's not gray. It's not gray at all. But you're right there. You're in between the light and the dark. The infinite darkness of the universe and all the light of the planets that come off of it from the sun behind your back. Or you stand into the infinite light of the universe, which is, your wildest imaginations of what heaven would look like. It's all right there. You just choose which view you want. You know what I mean? You just sit on the edge of everything. Where I be. So if you go and you look in that picture that I shared in my community page, where do I sit and all that? In the middle, right behind that big circle of darkness. I stand back there in the dark, because that's where I'm more comfortable. And there's many of us that are on the other side. We're in the darkness. We're still there at the table. We just sit on the other side of the table, because it's more comfortable at this side. No less. An equal balance of family, equally recognized by the light. If anything, more honored. I gotta be honest. God doesn't love anyone more. But those of the dark are more honored. Why? Because they have more power. They have to have more virtues to overcome the darkness to sit upon the light. The light, how can you explain this? The angels of the light come and they shed light. All darkness is gone. They're just the light. And that's what I do, is I bear the light, but I am of the dark, right? So, us, of the darkness, we have a power that they don't have. We can walk through the darkness. We can see it. Where they can't, they just bring the light and the darkness is gone. Their job is to light up the darkness so that it flees. But they don't know what's in the darkness. That's our job. Our job is to manage the darkness. You know what I mean? They shed light. We walk through the dark spaces. So they have a lot of, the light beings have a lot of reverence for us. They're excited about us. They're intrigued by us. They find us more powerful than them. as we find them just as powerful. You have the, you know what I mean? It's an equal give and take of, in reality, of you're so powerful, how God made you and what he gave you as your power in this, you know what I mean? In this reality. You know, too, you know, you pray to your angels and, you know what I mean, in your darkness, you ask for them to come and shine light. But in the darkness, when they're in the darkness, you ask for your dark angels to watch out for them. Watch out for them as they walk through the valleys of the shadows of death. You know, when Dante went into hell, he had Virgil. He couldn't take God with him down there. He had to take, you know what I mean, a different type of guide. And so with that being said, it's an intrigue. And another thing that intrigues them the most is how much God fights for those in the dark. Once you're in the light, you're safe, you're protected by light. But he spends all of eternity looking in the dark spaces for people. He works his hardest to get those out of the dark. And it's not to say that he loves those of the dark more, but he's worked his hardest to get those out of the dark. That's been his work since the beginning of this work, is we all work together to get them out of the dark. So you would almost say, and that's why people have given the devil so much power, is you would almost say that the devil and the dominions, the demons of the devil, the creatures of the darkness, have more power than the light, because we walk through so much darkness. No. I mean, in essence, if you're a whole energy harvester like we know some people to be, then yeah, they're living the best of their lives. They're feeding off of this pain and suffering of everyone, and they can manipulate the energy all the time. Don't get me wrong. I could walk up to you and put a thought in your head immediately, make you start thinking terrible about yourself immediately. I could use my powers to do such horrible things. But instead, I'd rather walk up into you and tell you to start believing good things about yourself. Bring the light inside of you. And that's it. It's not that I can't see what you're suffering from. It's that, you know, a healer like myself that's transmuted the darkness will teach others to get out of there. Not to stay in there, not to, you know what I mean? It's not, you know, misery doesn't love this company. I understand the company you keep, and I know that you're miserable because I too have been there. I'm here to walk you out of here. And that's it. He sends his strongest soldiers into battle. We're the ones that you have to go in and live of the darkness. Breathe of the darkness. You know what I mean? Be of the darkness. Only for, truthfully, our services to his children, to go and get his children out of the darkness. Not just to ourselves as children of his, but as a promise to him to go help, you know what I mean, those less fortunate, those they can't. Here comes Pac. You know what I mean, me and Pac are on the other side of that, holding down the block, trying to get the people that don't think God's out there when they're with him, trying to bring the light down to him and say, dude, God's right here with us. He knows what's going on. He hasn't forsaken us. He just put us here to be strong. You know what I mean? And that's really the truth is, you know, people that have never seen suffering or pain, you would say that they're privileged. No. They're weak and they're ignorant. And if anything, they're in danger because they don't actually understand the darkness that lies within this planet. They make themselves ignorant to it, and therefore they're easy prey to it. Now, how do they manage to make it through a whole life without pain and suffering? For some that do, because they've already overcame it in other lives. They've already took care of that. Because nobody comes to the human experience without pain and suffering. And you'll continue to stay in that pain and suffering until you overcome it. You know what I mean? You're like, damn, I'm so old. Will I ever catch a break? Will you ever learn the lesson? It's not God holding you back. It's you. He keeps trying to teach you the same lesson over and over and over. He sends everybody to you to teach you this lesson, to get you out of it. You have your friends. You have your family. You have people that are praying for you, that you'll fucking get this. That you'll get it. You'll get off the drugs. You'll get out the streets. You'll get a better job. You'll get a better moral code. You'll start caring about yourself. You'll start meeting people. You'll start dating again. You know what I mean? People want happy things for you, but you've got to want it for yourself. You know what I mean? Nobody can force you to learn your lessons, because they're painful, you know. But that's just kind of where I wanted to stay at. That is like, you know, I've seen the vision where we walk through the light, dressed in dark, and watch the angels and all the light bow to us with such humility that we save the world. Our ability to harness the darkness and set people free from the darkness is what saves them, because they've tried all different ways before we got here. You know what I mean? The dead must rise in order to get them out of here. They've tried. I'm on the phone. They tried their way. How many times did God send angels and you know what I mean, all different types of messengers of the light to get the light beings out? But ultimately, this whole thing has always been going into the darkness to get them out. It always was. To get them out of where? Their thoughts, their beliefs. That's it. Just to believe in him. Just to believe that he could change their life if they just had a little bit of faith and hope. That was the whole message about, you know, that's all Christ came to tell you. You got a whole God inside of you that's guiding you, and you got to listen to that God and be that God inside of you. Not these people, not these books, but God inside of you. There's a whole spirit inside of you. And so, you know, that's been the story. And in other religions, it's their God as a different person that came, you know, their different messenger of God came and told them the same fucking message. You know what I mean? There's a whole, you know, there's a divinity inside of you. You're important. Your very soul is important, and we need you to walk in the light. So, I just wanted to tell you that. Just, you know, for those of you that are in the darkness, you haven't strayed away from your path. God's walking with you in that darkness. He's right there with you. He would never leave your side, nor would your family members or your friends or your ancestors. They walked that path before you, and now it's your turn to take this path, this ancestral wounding path. And it's your chance to change history from what they did. Or, unfortunately, and they were all forgiving about it, to continue to follow their path until you can evolve and change history. But they have all the hopes that you can, and they're not mad at you and that you're not, because truthfully they didn't do it before you. Otherwise you wouldn't have to walk this walk. You know what I mean? They know that you're being put, everything they ever did in their life has been put on you, and they're trying their hardest to make it as easy as they can, but they also can't. Because ultimately God can only, you know what I mean, God says this is your path. They are strong enough to take this path. They will learn. And so we all have to just sit back. And I'm the worst of it. I'll scream in your face. You know what I mean? All Lieutenant Dan about it. And it's like, it doesn't make you see it any faster. We've all seen it. You know what I mean? We all come to just teach you that God's here with you and he loves you and he's trying to get you out of this. But even while you're in it, he's there with you. You know what I mean? Whatever you're doing, dude. When you go to buy a bag, he's making sure you're safe when you buy that bag. When you're sitting there alone after you do your dope and you're feeling sad, he's sitting there telling you it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? He didn't leave you. When you're feeling bad because you ain't got your kids, bro, he's trying to remind you that how good they are and, you know, tell you that everything's okay. He's there. He's always there. Always. And those are the light and the dark, and that's what you don't get. A lot of people are very scared of, you know, the dark. You got a lot of family members. We call them ancestors. You got a lot of people in your bloodline that weren't all love and light, man. They didn't live great lives. So they stay in the darkness, but they're still by your side. They're not there to corrupt you. They're there to watch over you, be them. Like, damn, I remember, you know what I mean? I did that in my life, too. You know what I mean? Oh, here we go. That's what we always do at this age. You know, they're there. They're there with you. Not in shame and blame and disgust, because truthfully, they love you, and you're their prize and joy. Everything's riding on you, but at the same time, just like my son, Benjamin Franklin, the whole All of technology, the world's technology, is riding on my 11-year-old son. The dude don't know nothing that he don't, you know what I mean? I'm not forcing him to know the world yet. He'll know when his time has come. He'll fulfill that destiny. But until then, no, he's got to have all his experiences and make all his mistakes and probably blow his head off a couple times. I always think about that. I always think about Benjamin Franklin, dude. God told him to go catch electricity. Imagine how many times he blew his fucking head off trying to do that before he actually did it. And then Albert Einstein. The guy was fried, bro. They knew he was a lunatic. But only when he could make it work was he a genius, you know? So ultimately, my kid's a total fucking... He's a lunatic. He's gonna make a whole lot of mistakes, fry his whole brain system until he figures out how to save us. And that's just kind of how it is. That's how your ancestors are, you know. You don't really know what the fuck you're here to do. You're just being guided, and you're just, you know, doing your dishes and brushing your teeth and shit, but you're never ever alone. And all those little thoughts and memories that they put inside of you, like, remember me, while you're sitting here all alone and getting creeped out, and I just moved the freaking blinds. Remember me. And you're like, oh my god, it's the devil. No, it's me, your great-great-grandpa. You're like, I don't know you. I don't know what you are. I'm scared. Are you under my bed? No, sitting right here, dickhead. Not really, but kind of. If I should translate for you, that's where you hear some of us, us real messengers, they talk like you, they would talk to you. They talk to you like they would talk to you. Because that's how they were made. God made them that way. They didn't turn into something different when they left the earth. I mean, they went and had another experience, yes. Okay, I guess they did. But in essence, that soul that you knew, that soul is still the same soul. I mean, Pac is Pac is Pac. It don't matter where you put his ass. There's no shame in his game and flares up anytime he wants to. God made him that way. He's going to be that way on earth, in heaven, and hell, on Jupiter, wherever you put him. That's it. That's the soul. That is your soul frequency, buddy. Damn, I'm sweating. I need an ice pack. Yeah, it's that hot still. I carry an ice pack with me all the time. Anyways, the point is you'll get it. And you'll get it. There's no if, ands, or buts. You'll get it. Why? Because the whole universe is working with you to get it. They're working with you to get out of this. And most of what you're working through is not even yours. I mean, okay, granted, yeah, from some lifetime, you had this shit coming. But most of it, nah, bro, it's your ancestors. Your parents fucked you big time. And now all your ancestors are rooting for you while your parents are still fucking you over. It makes no sense. They hate their own kids. It's like, you know, your grandma, my grandma, fuck, she's not pleased with my father. She fucks with him at night too. How? Memories. Remember me, even though you're trying to go to sleep. It's like, how could you do this to my granddaughter? How could you do these things? Man, wake up, fucker. Love her. Man, poor guy. It's a machismo thing that they have in the Latinos. He only loves his sons. It's a weird thing. They need to heal that shit. It doesn't really bother me. I've already broken the curses. Thank you much. But that's what I wanted to tell you. If you're in the dark, you're not alone. Everybody's working for you more than they're working for the light. People don't need so much help. Once you're in the light, you don't need so much. It's the people in the dark that need us. It's the people in the dark that need God the most. Here comes Pac. You know what I mean? The people that outside of the church that need God more than the people inside of the church. People inside of the church supposedly are all godly and know God. It's the people outside that don't know that He's there and He's okay and everything's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Listen to that voice inside of your heart, and you know what I mean? And be strong. Cry your way through this. Going back to, you know, if you're suffering with drugs and shit, I did that. I did. I walked out of a drug house. I don't know how many years ago it was. But I was just like, I can't do this. And I didn't know what to do. I really didn't know where to go. I cried myself to an ER. And I told them that I've been on drugs and I just need some help. They didn't really know what to do with me, so they put me in a detox for overnight. But the lady inside of the detox, when I told her the next morning, she's like, you're incapable of making rational decisions, so we're going to go ahead and just put a hold on you. So even though they said I was ready to go, she knew I wasn't ready to go, and she put a 5-day hold on me, and I spent 5 days in detox in downtown Denver. And that was enough. After 2 days, I wanted to leave. I was like, what the fuck am I still doing here? Because I don't know if you know what detox is. It's just basically when they pick up drunk people, they got to take them somewhere. They don't necessarily have to go to jail, but they have to take them somewhere to sober up. So it's a place where they have beds, and then they feed them meals, and there's showers, and they just bring drunk people in, and they pass out. And once they can show that they're sober and they know their names and what the fuck got them there, they release them back into the streets and they can go on about their lives. But they didn't do that for me. After 2 days, I'm like, I'm ready to go. Nope. So I had to really stick it out with 5 days of a bunch of people just coming in, just, you know what I mean, that couldn't control their habits. And that was kind of enough for me. I didn't really want to do it anymore after that. Not to say I didn't have 2 more relapses after that, but they didn't become bingers. It means that I couldn't say no, and I regretted it immediately after and hated myself and condemned myself. But in the essence, you know, you got to start somewhere. And where it is you're just weak. You know what I mean? You're just weak, and you're like, all right, I got to start somewhere. And even if you go back to the beginning, which you'll all see in my documentary, that's it. I was crying, I was scared, and I knew something was wrong with me. And my biggest, and I knew what it was. I knew something, I could figure it out. I figured it out so quick. I was like, you have a personality disorder, just like everything you've seen in the movies. You black out, you have no memories, you dress up like different people, you're one person the next minute. And I'm like, I know what's wrong with me before I go to ask somebody. And when I go to ask him, he doesn't give me the answer I expect. He tells me that I need parts therapy. By this time, they call it something different, and I don't know what that is. And my parts throw a fit at him, and I try to run out of the office because he doesn't know that I'm really sick. And he tells me how to, to look it up. He's watching my parts explode. It's all documented in there. What happens? I'm begging him. He's like, how can I help you? I said, I don't know. I can't stop myself from leaving. Help me. He said, just look it up on YouTube. And that was enough to get me to start this huge journey by myself. But it's just noticing, fuck, dude, I'm so fucked up right now. Something is seriously wrong, and I need help. That's the biggest start. And once you ask for help and you realize that, people are willing to help you and that you actually did need it, and you're willing to receive it, it can change everything. Hey, Mr. Plum's about to come in from Bible study, and he got to speak on kindness tonight, so I'm going to see if we can get some good word out of it. But anyways, I just want to tell you, you're not left and forgotten, and you're not meant to burn in this lifetime. It just burns, bro, and you've got to just be strong and break these binds, you know what I mean? Break the things that those before you couldn't do. I'm praying for you. Hey, check out my shorts. I did a 7-card read about what to look for. It was all in the wands, which is your intention. Use your subconscious. The swords is your mind, right? It's your intentions, but it's based on logic. The wands is based on your unconscious. You know what I mean? It's the fire inside of you, the will to live. Hey, I love you guys. Best of wishes. And again, from heaven above, it's like we're fighting. If you ask who's fighting hardest, if there was ever anyone we're fighting harder for, it's the people in the dark. Not that God loves you more, it's that that's who everyone's fighting for. So we're fighting for you. You have to fight too. I love you. Have a good night. Bye.